We've all had that moment where we go into our closet and getting dressed is just like a crapshoot of like, oh, let's do this. This doesn't work. This doesn't work. This doesn't work. And that's where we start saying, oh my God, I hate my closet. And I feel like I should know what I'm doing, but I don't. And so instead of beating yourself up, because we've all been there, let's talk about easy outfit formulas that you can do every single day. My name is Rebecca Rowe, and that is what this channel is about. I'm an education-led personal stylist, which just means that I have the worst business plan in the world. I am here to make sure that you know what you're doing without me. Of course, you can still hire me if you want to, because that's where the real transformation happens, but I'm just gonna throw that in there. Either way, I'm gonna walk you through some of this You Can't Mess This Up style guide. I am gonna start reading off of the freebie. You can do the same thing. Download the freebie. The link is in the bio, or the link is in the caption. And so you can follow along with me. First thing you need to do is go to your closet. There's a couple of things that we're gonna do this. There's a couple of things that we are going to go through, and it's going to be the easiest when you're actually looking at clothing. So pick up your laptop, let's go. The things we're gonna be talking about in this video are the rule of thirds, mixing styles, style formulas, easy color combos, texture pairings, and then how to mix prints. And I'll give you a couple of quick tips that will save till the end. So the rule of thirds is actually a really simple rule, and is the most flattering or most visually appealing way of getting dressed is having a 2/3 plus 1/3 combination. Now we can do this in a couple of different ways. We can do this with 2/3 on top, like with a dress, or you can do this 2/3 on the bottom, like with a pair of pants. Notice that I'm saying 2/3, not at your natural waist. Most of the time, the 2/3 on the bottom is gonna hit you at your natural waist, which is the part of your body that hinges sideways. Now, yes, this works, but you're gonna have to play with the proportions, because if you're petite and say you're under 5'5", your top is going to be really short. It's gonna feel like awkwardly short. And if you're taller, it's gonna feel at a more cropped length, and you might not get the proportions that we're looking for. What we are looking for is if you break up your body, starting from your ears down, 1/3 plus 2/3. This can be done with skirts. This can be done with dresses. This can be done with long tops, whatever it is. The point is that whatever combination you want to use, the main thing to remember is that we do not want to cut your body in half. Now, remember, the visual half of your body is not at your waist. Your visual half is usually somewhere around your hip line. Now, oftentimes stylists will say, like, don't put a straight line over your hips because it'll make your hips appear wider. I have no problem with putting a straight line over your hips, especially if that's where we want to draw attention to. Remember that when we add a straight line anywhere on a human body, it is going to draw attention to that place. The reason being that there are no straight lines on a human body. So by adding something like that, you are instantly drawing attention there. It works with a choker or with a belt, sometimes on your sleeves. Use this tool with intention to draw the attention to where you want it to go, instead of just throwing your hands up and saying, why doesn't this oversized t-shirt work on my frame? It has nothing to do with your frame and everything to do with that oversized t-shirt. So take a look at your oversized tee and have it hit just a little bit lower than your hip, or just a little bit higher, and have it feel more intentional. So remember, first one is 1/3 plus 2/3. Now, mixing styles is also known as mixing aesthetics. Now, easiest way to do this is 2 plus 1. 2 parts fancy, 1 part casual. 2 parts feminine, 1 part masculine. 2 parts boho, 1 part edgy. Whatever combination that you specifically like, and this is great for people who like mixing aesthetics in general, who say that they have 2 aesthetics. The easiest way to make an outfit feel interesting is by having a bit of a mix. So having a full suit with a pair of sneakers. We saw this a lot in menswear. This also works in women's wear. Having a dress with a pair of combat boots. Having a dress with a menswear style waistcoat. There's a lot of different ways that you can do this. I personally like a 2 parts masculine, 1 part feminine combo. Play around in your closet and see what you like the best, but know that it's always gonna be a 2 plus 1, and those 1 or that one might very well come from your accessories. So I mentioned shoes a couple of times. This is really important so that you know how to mix it together. So have a very feminine full outfit with a dress and a purse or a scarf or something that feels very soft, and then mix it with something that feels very hard, like a leather belt or a pair of boots. Something like that can work really well to add more interest to your overall look. Now, it doesn't have to be hard like boots or a leather belt. It could also be hard like a suit jacket. Something that feels more structured. Now, if you have a hard time figuring out what the anchor point is in this outfit, take a look at my other video. I do have another video on anchor points and the anchor point method and how to use it to really create a cohesive look and to find the visual points in your outfit so that it feels put together. Let's talk about color. Now, the easiest way to talk about color is if it looks good in nature, it will look good on you. Point blank. So blue and green, absolutely. We've seen that in nature before. Don't overthink your colors. The main thing to remember when you're playing with different colors is that you are trying to match the saturation if you are having a hard time with color combinations. Orange and pink look great as long as they're the same saturation. Orange and pink is going to look a little off if it's a fuchsia and a peach. Do you see where I'm getting with this? So gray and blush, great color combination. Navy and caramel, great color combination. You can mix all of your neutrals together: brown, gray, blue, white, cream, navy. Did I say navy? Black. All of those work well together, and they work especially well together if they are the same saturation. So you can have a strong brown with a cool undertone and a gray, and they work really well together. Neon and neon work fabulously together. They're really bright colors. Pink and navy, can't go wrong with that color combination. But remember that you can always mix your colors with your neutrals and have the color feel very vibrant. Texture pairings are a little bit more challenging because we're playing with a type of fashion theory that we don't see a lot. So texture is everything on your clothing that has a feeling. So this sheen texture is a more fancy texture, whereas my jeans we've seen before. Jeans are more of a neutral texture. So jeans, mix them with everything. They're very neutral. They go with leather, they go with rib, they go with cotton and lace and everything else in between. Really pay attention to how you mix them together and have one dominant texture and another supporting texture, which just means that you can have a suit jacket made of velvet and you can pair it with jeans and it will feel very cohesive. But if you have a suit jacket made of velvet and you mix it with another velvet texture, that's also going to work because they're the same texture. But you're gonna have a bit more of a challenge mixing a velvet with a denim, or sorry, with a leather that feels like they're competing. It's not to say that it can't be done. All of the fashion girlies are in here being like, yes, you can do that. Of course you can do that. What I'm trying to get to is this is easy, no questions asked. You do not have to pass go. You have to put them on and leave. That is who this video is for. So fashion girlies, shut your mouth, okay? We are talking about easy to do combinations that work for going to an office, going to work, doing something that feels like you do not need to question before you leave for your day. Remember though, whenever you are mixing your textures, you are also adding in your anchor point. So if you mix a denim and a leather together, the leather of your jacket, say, may not be a strong enough anchor point to really make the outfit feel complete. So make sure you're watching that video on anchor points so that you know how to elevate and make that outfit feel very put together. Print. If you are a print person, you probably already kind of know how to do this, so trust your eyes on that one. Always, always, always trust your eyes. You'll know what works well together and you'll know what doesn't. So when you are mixing prints together, I want you to think of it like a movie. There's one star and one sidekick and they have to play together in the same film. What all that means is that you have one dominant print, so one print that catches all of your attention. Usually this is an abstract print or a very high contrast print, and then you mix it with a more subtle print. And now subtle prints are, call it neutral prints, and these are prints that we've seen for eons. So we're talking pinstripe, polka dot, American style cad pad. We're talking about very classic florals. We're talking about plaid. Any sort of thing like that, tweed, that's another neutral print. All of those together with a very vibrant, call it floral or abstract print, are going to work. Now, the reason that they're going to work is because when I say to get played together in the same movie, it means that they are going to have the same aesthetic, and they're probably going to have some sort of background color that ties them together. So you can have one that's like an orange or coral and white striped blouse with a abstract print yellow kind of skirt. They're going to play really well together because you would wear them both to work. They both feel very classic in their shapes, and they are one is the hero print and one is a sidekick print. Here are those quick tips at the end of the video, so you have made it through the entire thing. Again, if you want a PDF copy of this one, just go into the caption. You will see the link to download your own You Can't Mess This Up style guide. So here's the things to remember. If you're layering, every single layer is its own outfit. So either start from the outside layer and work your way in, or work your way in from the Start from the outside layer and work your way in, or work from the base and work your way out. So in this case, if this is the outfit that I knew I wanted to wear with the collar, with the chains and the cream colored pants, I would put another sweater on top instead of putting a turtleneck underneath. There's always two ways to layer, and it's either under or over. When you're playing with volume, you can think about balance, but think about proportions over balance. I don't need to see a fitted top with a loose bottom. What I need to see is the 2/3, 1/3 rule. So we're gonna just scrap that old kind of information and start from a math perspective. If it works in math, it will work on you. The last thing I want you to do is take a look at your closet, put the things that you want to wear right dead in the center, kind of at your eye level, and anything that doesn't belong in your closet, I want you to remove it. It doesn't have to be in a donation bin, just has to be in another room, in a suitcase to pack away, whatever the case is. Get it out of your visual space so that you are only left with things that fit you, that you want to wear, and that you know what to do with. So take all that information, and if you need me, you know where to find me.